Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. Liverpool are taking on Spartak Moscow at Anfield on Wednesday night in the Champions League to decide who will make it through to the round of 16, because this is, of course, an absolutely massive game for Liverpool. It really shouldn't have been, we really should have got ourselves over the line and secured top space in the group with a win against Sevilla, but unfortunately, we threw that away. Liverpool can just never do things the easy way, it seems. So this is the position we are in now. Obviously, as we all know, if Liverpool win this game, they will top the group, make it through to the round of 16 and hopefully secure themselves a favourable draw by coming first place in the group. If they draw, they'll still make it through, but there is a risk, depending on what happens between Sevilla and Maribor, that they'll come second and they could get a less favourable draw in the next round. And if they lose, then there is a very high chance that they will drop out of the competition and fall back into the Europa League. And like I said, this is always seems to be the way that Liverpool have to do it. No matter what happens, no matter what kind of performances we put in, we've had a really decent Champions League group stage campaign, considering how much our heads have fallen off at various points already so far this season. We actually haven't lost a game in Europe yet. Obviously, we've had a few disappointing draws. We've been in winning positions and we've thrown it away. We've given away a lot of silly goals, missed a lot of easy chances, but this is the position where Liverpool are in now, as we always seem to be, with it coming right down to the wire. So going into the game, team news: Joel Matip, Jurgen Klopp said recently, is not going to be available for this game. By the sounds of it, he's not actually going to be out for that long. At first, when it was announced he had an adductor injury, it sounded like he was actually going to be out for something like a month, which, given how congested the fixture list is becoming, would be very bad news for Liverpool. Fortunately, Klopp said it doesn't sound like he's going to be anywhere near that long that he's going to be out for, but he will definitely not be available for this game. Elsewhere, we're expecting that Joe Gomez and Raniel Klavan will both be back fit for this game. They both missed the game at the weekend against Brighton through illness. Klavan was on the bench. Joe Gomez was out of the matchday squad completely, but with those just being viruses rather than actual physical injuries, you'd hope that they've got over those now and they will be available for this game. So team news going into the game and how I think we're actually going to line up. I'm expecting that Liverpool are going to start Loris Karius, of course, because he's the Champions League goalkeeper. He's fit and fine at the moment, and despite Mignolet putting in some good performances and putting in some pretty decent saves in the game against Brighton, given how much Liverpool blew away Brighton, it's easy to forget how Mignolet actually influenced the game by making big saves at important points. Hopefully Loris Karius can do the same for us in this game. He didn't necessarily have an awful game against Sevilla, made a very decent save when the game was at 1-0, I think, so hopefully another good performance from him. The back four, I'm expecting it to be Lovren and Klavan in the middle, obviously no Joel Matip there at the centre back. And then I think it's going to be Gomez and Alberto Moreno on either side. Because while we have seen a lot of rotation from Liverpool over the past few games, I'm thinking with this being a really important match, this is where Jurgen Klopp is going to maybe, take a little bit of a chance and go with a full strength team. And I think that's one of the reasons that he's been making so many changes, rotating the team so much recently, is because in a game like this is one that's so important that you need to have all your players fit and available. So, if we've done all that rotating in the past, there's no point doing it unless you're going to be able to play your full strength team in this game, and that's what I'm expecting Liverpool to do. So looking at the midfield, I think it's going to be Emre Can in the number 6, and then Wijnaldum and Coutinho either side of him. There's a lot of room for rotation here for Jurgen Klopp, because I still don't think we quite know what the best midfield is yet. Personally, I'd prefer to have Emre Can in that number 6. Henderson played at the weekend as well, so it kind of makes sense to give Can the start there. I think Wijnaldum will probably play to the side of him rather than Henderson or Milner. And then I think Coutinho, a little bit deeper than he has been playing over the last few games, even though he played incredibly well in the left wing slot at the weekend, just so he can pull the strings a little bit more, what with this being a home game and all. And then I think the front three is going to be Salah, Firmino and Mane, because like I said, I think Jurgen Klopp is going to go full strength for this game. We haven't seen that lineup of Coutinho, Salah, Mane and Firmino all together in the starting 11 for a while now, and I think this is exactly the kind of game that Liverpool need to unleash that attacking threat. So Spartak Moscow then, they're actually in decent form at the moment. Obviously their last European result was a disappointing one. It was a 1-1 against Maribor, a result that really kind of opened the door for Liverpool to push ahead and get that top spot in the group and secure qualification. Unfortunately, as we all know, like I said earlier, they threw that away. This is the position they're in now. But since that draw, Spartak Moscow have got quite a few decent results domestically. About a week ago, they beat Zenit St. Petersburg 3-1. Obviously, Zenit are one of the other sort of top competing teams in Russia, so that is an impressive result from them. But even then, I think that Spartak are going to do a lot of sitting back in this game. That is exactly what they did in the game in Russia earlier on in the season. You know, they did an awful lot of time wasting. They really sat off Liverpool and allowed us to have a lot of chances. And it was only the fact that Liverpool were incredibly wasteful in that game that stopped us from actually winning it. So I think, despite the fact that they do actually need a win in this game, you know, a draw is not enough for Spartak Moscow if they want to progress to the round of 16. I still think that they're going to spend most of their time sitting back and waiting to maybe catch us on the break a couple of times and catch our defence off guard. And that is why, for me, the most important thing for Liverpool in this game is not letting Spartak Moscow score first, because they will defend an awful lot. And if they get the lead, if they go 1-0 up, then they are just going to defend for their lives at that point. They are not going to be interested in getting another goal. They are not even going to be interested in getting any players in our half, to be honest. They will just look to defend that lead should they get it. So it's so important for Liverpool in this game that we get the first goal and we never really let Spartak Moscow get a foothold on the game. So while obviously a draw would be enough for Liverpool in this match, I still think really we should be going for the win, because, you know, it's there for the taking. Spartak Moscow are a good side, but they're simply not as good as us. We saw that in Russia with the way that they sat off us and, you know, gave us the ball and allowed us to play. I just think that Liverpool really should be going for the win in this game. It's there for the taking, and we can get top spot in the group and get ourselves a hopefully favourable draw in the round of 16. So here are my 3 reasons why I think Liverpool will beat Spartak Moscow. First of all, the fact that Liverpool now know how to break down a low block defence should hopefully be absolutely huge for us going into this game. I mean, earlier on in the Champions League campaign, we saw what happened when Maribor came to Anfield and tried to sit back and defend. Liverpool just, you know, they took their time. They didn't try and force any chances or anything, and it did take until the second half for us to actually get the breakthrough. And I think it will probably end up being similar in this game. You know, if Spartak Moscow do sit off as much as I'm expecting them to, then it will take us a while to get any sort of actual breakthrough and get any sort of goal, unless they make a mistake and let us in by accident, you know. So patience will be important for Liverpool in this game, and that's one of the things that's been a key factor of how we've broken down these teams that sit back. You know, it's been important that we never try and force anything. We just allow us to play our own game and we wait for the chances to come to us. That is how games have panned out. And while Spartak Moscow, you know, they're not like Stoke or Maribor or Huddersfield or any team like that. They are a much higher calibre of opposition. You know, they're Champions League worthy. They are in and around those spots competing for the round of 16. I still think that Liverpool will know tactically how to beat this kind of team. And as long as we bring the quality as well, we should be able to. And second of all, and this kind of links to our ability to break down teams that sit back, Liverpool have a lot of match winners in their squad now. You know, they have a lot of difference makers that are kind of like what we had when we had Luis Suarez in the team. I think Salah, Mane and Coutinho are the 3 players on the pitch that Liverpool will look to when they need something to happen, when they need a little bit of magic or a creative spark. Earlier on last season, we just didn't have that, and it was something that I noticed against Stoke with Mane early on in the game and then Salah when he came on as a substitute. Liverpool have got these players now that they can rely on to make a difference, and that's so important in games like this where one goal really can make the difference, really can swing the tide and really can get us into the Champions League knockout stages. And another important thing about having those kind of players on the pitch is it just opens up so much more space for all the other players that Liverpool have. You know, again, it's like when we had Luis Suarez, everyone would gravitate towards him and it would make up a lot of space, give pretty much everyone else an extra 5 yards in which they could play. We noticed it at the weekend when we played against Brighton. Every single counter-attack, Mo Salah, he had the pace, he was threatening, and all the Brighton players gravitated towards him, and it created space for people like Coutinho and Firmino to actually get chances and score goals. And I think that will be so important for Liverpool in this game. And finally, again, it's so cliche, but it is a European night, it is at Anfield, and it does mean the absolute world to the fans who will be there in the stands on Wednesday night. And I just think, you know, that has the potential, like those match winners as well, to just tip the balance in our favour. You know, there is that old adage about the Kop being able to suck the ball in. And personally for me, you know, when you've watched games like Liverpool against Dortmund, when you've seen that last minute winner by Dejan Lovren, that's when you've seen firsthand the ability of the Kop to just change a game, to really suck the ball genuinely into the net and score goals, really. And I think provided the fans have the same patience as the team, because like I said, the breakthrough probably won't come straight away. It will take a little bit of time for Liverpool to break down Spartak Moscow. Then the fans have got as much chance as any of those players on the pitch of changing the game and getting a win for Liverpool. So that is all for today's video. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. As you can see, the setup has changed once again. That is because I'm back from uni now for Christmas break for quite a few weeks. So if you're wondering why there weren't any videos over the weekend or anything like that, that is why. I was moving out and getting all my stuff boxed up and going home. So hopefully there will be a TV there again. You know, it's not just going to be a blank backdrop, but for now, this is what it's going to be. So sorry if this bores you to look at, but never mind. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. Check out some of the other videos that have been out on the channel over the past few days as well. Don't forget to follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter, and I will see you on Wednesday night for the post-match video after Liverpool have hopefully beaten Spartak Moscow and got through to the Champions League knockout stages. Bye for now.